Ever since the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons, Nintendo has put a huge emphasis on online communication and interaction. This can be seen in the fact that players get one colour variation of each furniture set sold in their Nook's crannies, and access to only 2 types of fruit unless we trade with other players. Nookazon is a fan-made site through which players can buy and sell in-game items, clothing, DIYs, services, and much more. Only in-game currency is exchanged, so the website is completely free for all to use. It is an amazing service which has clearly had a lot of love put into it. While the website is free to use, to get the most out of Nookazon, having a Nintendo Online membership is pretty essential, so you can travel to other people's islands for trading. If you're interested in trying Nookazon or generally exploring the online functionality of New Horizons, I believe you can get a 7-day free trial to try it out. When you first log on to the site, it can certainly seem intimidating. I started using Nookazon more frequently during December after a period of being inactive on it, and I noticed a lot of new features had been added. There are also a lot of frequently used terms and vocabulary, of which understanding what they mean can make using the site much easier to understand and seem far less intimidating. So today I'm going to take you through the buying and selling processes, as well as noting a few small things like trading etiquette and avoiding scams. This video will be divided into sections, and the timestamps will be in the description down below, so without further ado, let's just get started. Log in or sign up to Nookazon by heading to the top right corner of the homepage. If you don't already have an account, you can sign up through Discord, Twitter, or Apple. Otherwise, in addition to making a username, you are also asked to input details about yourself in Animal Crossing, including your character name and island name. You may also choose to include your friend code, but this is not mandatory. If you decide to connect your Discord account, you automatically get added to the Nookazon Discord server. Connecting your Discord acts as another way through which you can get in contact with other players. Once you have signed up or logged in, the 3 dots in the top right corner open a menu where you can find your settings. Here you can edit your profile and add other information like a bio, which time zone you're in, your dream address, and much more if you choose. Clicking on your name takes you to your profile where you can set your status to online, busy, or offline. Setting your status to online or busy allows people to make offers on your listings. One of the first things I recommend you do if you'll be doing a lot of selling is to fill up your wish list. However, if you're a super new player and you want to avoid spoilers, I wouldn't recommend you do this, as you'll basically be seeing every item you can get in the game. But if you've been playing for a little while and you want to fill out your catalogue and DIY list, this is the way to go. It's especially good if you do not need bells or Nook Mile tickets. This is because when you list things to sell, you can set wishlist items as the only option for what people can pay you in, if they have any of the items on your wishlist. Having a wishlist is also handy because on the homepage you have a For You section, which highlights recently listed items from your wishlist which you may want to buy. To add things to your wishlist, either browse through the categories listed along the top of the screen, or use the search bar if you're looking for something specific. Then select either the colour variation or the DIY recipe for craftable items, then click the heart button in the top right corner of the listing. A drop-down menu will appear where you can select which wishlist you want to add the item to. You automatically have a wish list called Looking For. I just add items to that. You can buy and sell nearly everything in the game, from furniture items to clothing, to DIY recipes, to villagers, to services like watering flowers, travelling to islands in the other hemisphere for seasonal critter collecting, and even flag designing, but there is also so much more. You can either select a specific item or browse through the homepage and categories for what you want to buy. Make sure you look at the price of the listing. It could either have a specific price listed or be under Make an Offer. The offer may be made in bells, Nook Mile tickets, or wishlist items of the seller depending on what the seller has selected. To look at a seller's wishlist, simply click on the Wishlist Items button. If you want to make an offer, it may help to look at the average price of your selected item. You can do this by clicking on the item or searching for the item, and you will be taken to that specific item's page. You will see a graph which shows the average price for that specific item. Mind, however, that you can make lower offers. This is just especially useful to do if you're trying to buy an in-demand item, such as hard-to-get seasonal DIYs, which we'll talk about more a little bit later. Making a good offer first time may help your success in having it accepted. If you are buying a craftable item, be wary of whether you're buying a singular item or the DIY itself. I've been caught out before by my own carelessness in not doing this, and have ended up with just an item when I wanted to buy the DIY recipe. For items which cannot be crafted, such as furniture which may be purchased from Nooks, an item may be listed under a touch trade. This utilises the game's cataloguing mechanic, whereby if you pick up an item and you have it in your pockets, it gets added to your catalogue and you can then buy it through the kiosk in resident services or through the Nooks online app if you have it unlocked. Bear in mind you can only catalogue the specific colour variation for the item you pick up. It's very important that during a touch trade, you then drop the item again and give it back to the seller. You get the item by returning to your island and ordering it for yourself once you've catalogued it through the trade. You still pay a fee for touch trading. If you see a listing for a craftable item which says materials required, that means they will craft the item for you for a fee. So you must bring the materials required to craft that item when you go to the seller's island or they come to you. You do not learn the DIY yourself during this type of trade. So how do you make an offer? Once you've found a listing you like the look of, click on it, then click the red Make an Offer button. Then you can leave your item in whatever currency is being requested. For offering wishlist items, you can then select from a drop-down menu. If the seller is open to multiple currencies, you can leave an offer in more than one currency. For example, if it were on their wishlist, you could offer an Ironwood dresser DIY and 2 Nook Mile tickets. Once you've made your offer, it will be up to the seller to either accept or deny it. If your offer is denied, you will be given a reason for it. For example, your offer may be too low. You are able to make another offer, but if you are not able to offer a higher price, it may be worth finding another listing. If your offer is accepted, the seller may want to message you about the sale, or they may send you a dodo code so you can go to their island for the exchange. They may also request a dodo code from you so they can come to your island instead. As you are interacting with strangers who could be of any age, here it is important to note how people coming to your island can see your player name, your island flag, posts on the community board, and any custom designs you have displayed on your island, so make sure that they are appropriate and inoffensive. As a note on etiquette, if you travelled someone's island and want to explore, check the shops or talk to visiting characters like Sahara, make sure you ask first. The seller may be working on something or have other trades lined up and not want people running around their island, so be polite and courteous. To complete the trade, whether you go to someone's island or they come to you, just drop whatever items, bells or Nook Mile tickets on the ground and pick up your purchase from the seller. If you don't want to look around the island, make sure you leave promptly and go through the airport rather than pressing the minus button. After completing a trade, whether buying or selling, it's also nice to leave a comment and rating for whoever you were trading with if the trade was successful, of course. I've met some extremely generous people through this site who may have taken a little while to respond to me initially, but paid double, for example. Reviews are a great way to tell how active someone is on the site and can be a good indicator of trustworthiness. That's not to say, however, that people without many reviews aren't trustworthy, but maybe avoid people with poor reviews if you're concerned. As with buying, you can sell basically anything in the game, from items or DIYs to services if you have the time. So you can make a listing by searching for what you want to sell, then clicking the Add Listing button. Again, if it's craftable, make sure you specify whether it's the DIY or the item itself. You can select this by clicking on the drop-down menu, where you can also select the customization option for the item too. There is a specific tick box for whether you're selling a DIY recipe for the object. For setting the price, you have 4 options, so let's go through each one now. Ask for offers is where you can select whether you want people to make offers in bells, Nook Mile tickets, or in items from your wish list. You can select more than one at once, then people can make an offer in whatever they choose. Then you can either accept or deny them. This is the option that I always choose. It can be beneficial for selling many items. This can be handy if you want to sell high demand items like seasonal DIY recipes, because people can sometimes get competitive with the offers they submit to you. Accept listing price means that you set a specific price which people have to comply with. By making a listing price too much higher than the standard price for the item may mean people won't make offers, so be wary with the listing price you set. Materials required, as mentioned earlier, means people will bring you materials to build the item you're offering for a fee. This is only applicable to craftable items. Touch trading, also as mentioned in the previous section, can only be selected for non-craftable items such as clothing. The touch trading and materials required options are not available for selling DIYs. So after you've made your listing and you have offers rolling in, you then have the choice to either accept or deny them. You can only accept one offer. Then you can either send someone your dodo code or request a dodo code from the buyer. Then you go through with the trade in the same way in which you would have done if you were buying. Again, after the trade is complete, remember to leave a review and comment for the other player. As a tip, as I mentioned earlier, you can make a lot of money from selling hard to find seasonal DIYs or Celeste DIYs, for example, if you happen to come across an extra. I found 2 duplicate festive DIYs during December and made around 2 million bells from selling them through Nookazon. Auctions are an alternative method of buying and selling. To sell something through an auction, create a listing in the same way as before, then click the auction tab. Here you can set the duration for the auction and enter a starting price in either bells or Nookmall tickets. You can see auctions which will be ending soon through the main menu. To participate in an auction, click into it, then make an offer. It can be equal to the minimum price if there are no other offers, but if there are offers made by other players, it has to be higher than theirs. Any offers made within the last 2 minutes of the auction will make the timer increase by 2 minutes. I made the mistake of waiting for an auction to be almost over to make my bid and was confused as to why the timer kept going up. This purely allows for the highest bidder to win rather than the quickest. Sometimes you'll find random mystery bag giveaways through the auction tab, which can be a really fun way to get items. I've tried to win some many times before, but I always seem to be outbid. You can also buy and sell villagers through Nookazon, so you can find dreamies without spending hours villager hunting and grinding for Nookmall tickets, or having to spend real money to buy amiibo cards. You can also now profit off your ugly villagers, because chances are there's somebody's dreamie somewhere. You can list a villager for sale through the ways in which we've discussed already, but you can only do this when the villager in your game has asked you whether they should leave and you have agreed to it. The day after they have asked you this, they will be considered in boxes. This is the state they go into the day prior to when they will leave your island for good. In your listing, you should then select the in boxes option. Another option you have to select is whether your villager is gifted or ungifted. If a villager is gifted, it means that you have given them clothing or furniture while they've been living on your island. An ungifted villager, on the other hand, will only have their default clothing and furniture. Once you have received an offer, the buyer can come to your island and talk to the villager who's in boxes, and they will have the option to ask them to move to their island. Purchasing a villager from another player works the same way as buying any other item through a listing or auction. Then you travel to the seller's island and ask the in-boxes villager to move to your island. The villager will always be in their home. Sadly, not all players are as lovely as the ones I have so far encountered throughout my time on the site. In fact, trying to catch Nookazon scammers became a bit of a trend on YouTube. If scams are something you are concerned about, Nookazon has an amazing safe trading guide written by one of the Discord moderators, which sets out some helpful tips. It also notes how you can report a scam if you think that has happened to you. I will have it linked in the description down below if you'd like to read the whole thing. So this is everything I think beginners would find helpful to know about Nookazon. I hope you found it useful, and if I've missed anything out, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Have fun trading, and I'll see you again soon.